After the DNC chair, Debbie Do Anything for Hillary Wasserman Schultz spent the last week criticizing Bernie Sanders and his supporters over false claims of violence at the Nevada convention. Bernie Sanders made her feel the burn. So when asked about the state of the race between her and her opponent, Tim Canova, Bernie Sanders said clearly, I favor her opponent. And when it comes to her position as the DNC chair, Bernie Sanders said that he would dump Debbie. He said, in all due respect to the chairperson, if elected president, she would not be reappointed to the chair of the DNC. Okay, I couldn't contain myself after that because I'm imagining like her face as she is hearing him say this. Now, he officially endorsed Tim Canova, and then the very next day, Tim Canova earned $250,000 from Bernie Sanders supporters, Tim Canova supporters from all across the country. So it just proves again that Bernie Sanders is a fundraising machine and he doesn't have to be corrupt to do it. Now, of course, Debbie decided to take the high road, and she had this to say. Even though Senator Sanders has endorsed my opponent, I remain, as I have been from the beginning, neutral in the presidential Democratic primary. I look forward to working together with him for Democratic victories in the fall.
Including...
This is the second time she said she's neutral. Debbie, you keep using that word. It doesn't mean what you think it means. Now, to top off Debbie's downer of a day, Senate Democrats actually deliberated on dumping divisive Debbie. The Hill explains, Democrats backing likely presidential nominee Hillary Clinton worry Wasserman Schultz has become too divisive a figure to unify the party in 2016. There have been a lot of meetings over the past 24 hours about what color plate do we deliver Debbie Wasserman Schultz's head on, said one pro-Clinton Democratic senator. The lawmaker said senators huddled on the chamber floor last week to talk about Wasserman Schultz's future and estimated that about a dozen have weighed in during private conversations. I don't see how she can continue to the election. How can she open the convention? Sanders supporters would go nuts, said the lawmaker, who requested anonymity because of the sensitive nature of the discussions. Now they continue, there is no indication Wasserman Schultz has any plans to leave her post, and Senate sources stress that a final decision won't be made until Clinton and Sanders negotiate some type of deal aimed at healing the party. A senior Senate Democratic aide said, there's a strong sentiment that the current situation is untenable and can only be fixed by her leaving. There's too much water under the bridge for her to be a neutral arbiter. Another Democratic senator who supports Clinton said Wasserman Schultz will hurt her chances of rallying the liberal base in the fall. We need to get this figured out and come together, said the lawmaker. Hillary's got the nomination. She needs Bernie's energy. It's time for her to accommodate. It's time to pick hard-nosed people to cut through things and figure out a deal. They need to know this is their primary, the lawmaker said, observing that if Wasserman Schultz were to be replaced as party leader, young liberals may become more enthusiastic about the ticket. Now, I just want to reiterate, this is coming from pro-Clinton senators who are saying that Debbie Do Anything for Hillary Wasserman Schultz is divisive, that she shouldn't be party chair. Still, they acknowledged that this is unfair to Debbie because she's just been so fantastic to Democrats and she's done so much for the party. No, she sucked for Democrats because not only did they lose more House seats under her tenure, they lost the Senate, they may lose the White House, they've lost seats in state legislatures across the country. So how can you say she's been great to Democrats? She's disenfranchised hundreds of thousands of Bernie Sanders supporters, millions of Bernie Sanders supporters. She's given progressives the middle finger at every single turn. How can you say she's been great to Democrats? She's responsible for losing a significant portion of the Democratic Party. Us progressives, because we're not going to vote for Hillary in November. But these Senate Democrats think that dumping her and using her as a scapegoat will be necessary if they do want to unify the party in November. Now, let's be clear here. I'm still not going to vote for Hillary Clinton if you do dump Debbie, but I will give you a high five. But that's it. You don't get anything more than that. I'm still not voting for Clinton, but please do dump Debbie because we don't like her. She's divisive. And I think that this deliberation here about dumping Debbie is a good indication that maybe the Democratic Party is waking up. Yeah, Hillary Clinton does need Bernie Sanders' enthusiasm, but she's not going to get it. She can't get the youth vote. And I'm sorry, I'm not really excited to go and vote for incremental change. But since this article was released, there have been many Senate Democrats that came to her defense. So Barbara Malinsky says, I think Debbie Wasserman Schultz has done a good job. Bill Nelson said about the prospect of replacing her, that is not going to happen. I certainly wouldn't let it happen. Tim Kaine said, we don't need to be making a change in chairs right now. Kirsten Gillibrand said, she helped elect Barack Obama twice, and she's going to help elect our nominee, whom I believe should be Hillary Clinton. And she also remarked that she loved the smell of her own farts, because that's what it sounded like. You know, someone who talks like that, it sounds like they love the smell of their own farts, but I digress. So Jean Shaheen said that she also contacted The Hill to express her support for Debbie Do Anything for Hillary. Now, DNC Communications Director Louis Miranda said that the real story that you should be reporting is that a bunch of notable U.S. senators and members of Congress on the record expressing support for the strong leadership role that Debbie Wasserman Schultz has had. No, the real story is that Democrats have deliberated on dumping Debbie. That's the real story. So you can try to reframe that as you want to save face, but we don't like Debbie. We call her Debbie Do Anything for Hillary Wasserman Schultz for a reason. It's because we believe she would literally do anything for Hillary Clinton, including be her scapegoat, since we dislike Hillary Clinton and Debbie Do Anything for Hillary. Well, they think that, well, if we get rid of Debbie at least, maybe they'll be more inclined to support Hillary Clinton. No, not going to happen, but I still do want you to get rid of Debbie. But that doesn't mean that I'm just going to support Hillary Clinton. She's had a momentous advantage because of Debbie's corruption and rigging the system against Bernie Sanders. Again, she corroborated with Hillary Clinton's campaign in the beginning to set debates on weekends and to limit them, and then to have this ridiculous exclusivity clause so that way if Bernie Sanders even decided to debate on a different network that wasn't sanctioned by the DNC, well, she would say, well, you're banned from future debates. And that would only serve to benefit Hillary Clinton. That's just one of the many ways that she tried to rig it for Hillary Clinton. She also cut off his access to Van, which she did to Tim Canova, her opponent, as well. So Debbie is using her power for immoral, unethical reasons to tilt the balance in favor of establishment Democrats, and it's pissing off a lot of progressives. So all these dumbasses who came out to show their support for Debbie Wasserman Schultz, all you're doing is proving the point, proving that we should be dissatisfied with the establishment because you guys are out of touch. You're dunces. You get there to serve the interests of your corporate donors, and that pisses us off. So if you don't serve us, guess what's going to happen? We're going to go bye-bye. There's National Dump Dems Day on July 29th. That's all your corruption. That's all your bullshit that you've done. That's all the slandering of Bernie Sanders and his supporters that you've done. That's you. That's on you. And it's on Debbie, and it's on all the idiotic Democratic establishment members who have done nothing but sling mud in the faces of Bernie Sanders and his progressive base. So you guys lost us. Now, the best you can do is try to move in the right direction to get us back somehow, someday. Dumping Debbie would be a start, but that doesn't mean we're going to vote for Hillary. Sorry.